Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 49 of the Cosmic Force. And holy cow, people, we have been doing this show for an entire year. That's right. That is what the topic of tonight's show is that we've been doing this for a year. So we're going to go just kind of hang out and kind of talk about our favorite moments, our favorite episodes. We've had some people in our Discord kind of leave some comments about that. So it's going to be a fun night. Just random talk with a bunch of our friends about Star Wars comics. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And we start where we always do with Emma. Emma, happy birthday, happy anniversary. I don't really know which one we're celebrating tonight, but hey, it's a happy night.
Yeah, it's a very happy night. I was gonna say it's like kind of weird to have like two birthdays in like 2 weeks. That's kind of strange, but whatever. Yeah, no, it's a good day. It's a good birthday, and it feels so weird that we made it to a year. But it feels so good at the same time. I'm wearing my Cosmic Force shirt in celebration.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, feeling good. Feeling good. I did some Lego Star Wars streaming. That game came out. Was it yesterday?
It
feels like forever ago, but it was yesterday, I think. Yeah.
It came out. Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good, and I streamed that for like 2 days because I moved to New Zealand for a day to get it early, and so that was good. And yeah, so if you're interested in that game, definitely check that out. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. It's literally so much fun.
I've got a little chance to play it earlier today. It has been a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
All right. Well, let's toss it over to the best cosplayer of the show, Caleb. Once again, just knocking it out of the park here. You wanna kind of explain what you got going on here?
Exactly. Due to the wonders of my wife and some persuasion, she has made me a essentially Jedi tunic. She found the pattern essentially for a mystical space warrior. TM.
That is great.
At Joann's, I think it was, and threw this together in surprisingly a quick amount of time. So it's a whole tunic and an obi, which is the actual term for the belt here is an obi. It's Japanese, so just even more stylistically chosen. I picked the colors. I didn't want to go for the more traditional brown and euchre sort of colors. So I decided to go for a little more bold with a burnt orange and a navy, because that always goes well together. So I'm excited. There may or may not be a coat coming soon, maybe the next month or so. Keep your eyes peeled.
I like the tease. I always hats off to your wife for consistently being
She's
able
amazing.
to yeah. It's one thing for us to go buy this stuff and have it shipped over, and have it take forever to get here from China. But to have your wife be able to make it is, hats off to her. That's some awesome stuff. And last but certainly not least, the most important member of this show the last year, because you are the person who makes this entire show possible and gets it out there for everybody. Jacob, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I am again alive. That's about all I can say. It's end of the semester is happening, and oh man, so I'm gonna finish it somehow. Luckily,
it is the end of this month, right? Or do you just have to get through April, or do you have to get? Does it go?
It's like the first week of May is the end. Okay. Like my finals, or it goes through the first week of May. The fun thing about law school, kids, is if you go to a good law school, they actively make it really almost impossible to fail out. So it's pretty cool. So if you got below a B- in any class, it means you probably just never showed up. So
and times. You're implying that you have gone to you are attending a good law school.
That's
right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Just I wanted to make sure that's exactly what what we were.
That's good news for the students, but it could be very bad news for your future clients.
As long as you pass the bar, they don't really care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if you are joining us for the first time, where have you been for this last year? Because we are a Star Wars comics podcast that broadcasts live right here on youtube.com/Youtini every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. But if you can't join us live, that is perfectly okay, because we are also available on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. We're also part of the Youtini podcast network of nearly a dozen shows and a Discord channel at youtini.com/Discord with more than 1,000 members and dozens of channels of topics to choose from. If you like what you see and you want to say thanks, then head on over to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/Youtini, where for as little as $5 a month, you can gain exclusive access to the entire Youtini podcast network of shows, as well as exclusive merch and community involvement activities. And Emma, do we have any new patrons that we want to highlight this week?
We do. We have one new patron, and we want to recognize them as we do every week. So a big thank you to Andrea Lynn Krulowitz. I hope I said that right. I should have practiced beforehand, but thank you so much, Andrea. We really appreciate your support. And thank you to all of our patrons, because without you guys, none of this would be happening. Like, this podcast wouldn't be happening, celebration wouldn't be happening. All of it is thanks to you guys. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our patrons in our Discord and our YouTube channel. I mean, all of you supporters are really what makes us coming back every week that much more special.
Yeah. And
Right,
I mean,
Jacob.
you guys are what allowed us to start the show in the first place. I mean, our Patreon money bought us our microphones. So, I mean, think of it that way. Like, today is an extra special day to shout out our patrons. So thank you guys so much.
Yes. All right, Jacob, you've got some news in here.
We do.
It's comics adjacent. Oh, you actually even say comics adjacent. Look at that. So Jacob, why don't you go ahead and kind of give us a rundown of what we have for news today?
Yeah, so we had a Hasbro Pulse event today, which is they do remember it's basically just like a press release / like news drop of all the figures they have coming out, and so we have some comics related ones we figured we'd share. So they're all upcoming. I think most of these that we're showing today are pre-order tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you're watching this live, good. If you're not, then just pray that they're still available somewhere. And hey, for some of these you're probably not going to get them until, because like the Black Chrysanthemum one, which is pre-ordered like in February or something like that, February or March, that's supposed to ship early 2023. So make sure
there's long lead time.
Make sure you pre-order from a place. If you're a renter, make sure you pre-order from a place that allows you to change your shipping address. So but yeah, this first one is Infinity's Vader, which is it was like basically like a Star Wars version of like Elseworlds or What If, where that Dark Horse did. And this one was, I think the premise basically is like Vader is redeemed in the Return of the Jedi, but he lives. It is this. So he's like, well, black is like emo and bad. So what if I had white armor instead? So that's this one. It's a black series, so it's the 6-inch figures. And
this is my favorite of the group. This is definitely going to be something I'm really looking for.
It's really
tomorrow.
clean. It's kind of interesting how he still has his red lightsaber, though.
I saw people talking about that. I'm not entirely sure if he actually still has a red lightsaber in the comic or if that's just a toy thing.
In the comic, he showed up for like 2 panels in this armor, so I don't think he even had his lightsaber. So artistic license.
There we go.
Artistic lightsaber.
I'll allow it.
Jared, our friend over at Legends Look Back, Jared, refers to this guy lovingly as Prom Vader.
It makes me laugh every time.
All right.
Near.
So the next one is, I mean, I'll let Emma take this one away, and that is, it's Princess Leia from the Mark Waid and Terry Dodson canon miniseries called Princess Leia. So,
AKA potentially Mutiny at Mon Cala. Yes, you heard me right. Potentially Mutiny at Mon Cala. We were looking at the image beforehand, and by the way, if you're new to the show, Mutiny at Mon Cala is notoriously my favorite comic. I'm very notorious for my love of that. And especially the cover, we put it in our intro video because I love it so much. And we were looking at the images before the show, and this outfit looks incredibly similar to the Mutiny at Mon Cala one, minus like a few minor differences, like some panel lines on the front of her shirt and things like that. Other than that, it's like pretty much exactly the same thing. And I squealed when we saw that because I just can't even believe it. I can't believe it. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy. And I was telling the guys beforehand, like, I have so many Leia figures. And normally, I only have like a few characters that I buy duplicates of. Rey, Ahsoka, Leia. I am absolutely getting like maybe 2 of these because they're so awesome. So happy.
If you were to put the packaging away and display this next to Mutiny at Mon Cala, you would absolutely be able to get away with saying, oh no, this is that figure.
Well, and that's a great idea, actually. I could put like a tiny little, one of those like tiny little floating shelves, get a little prop, kind of like what Jacob has for his comics, put the trade there, and then pose the figure like she is, on the cover,
hero
and
pose,
it
yep.
will look absolutely fantastic. I might do that. I think I'm gonna buy one to keep in the box and one to pose. Like, you gotta do it.
Yeah, it's a great looking figure. And then so this one, since this is the first image we've shown that has it, but they've been doing these. I don't know if I don't think they have a special term for this line, but they've had some other figures that come in this style box recently. They've had like the
Right.
Darth Maul one, which had like some Darth Maul comic art, and they had
Yep.
a Luke Skywalker one that used the Heir to the
Yellow
Empire
jacket.
comic. No, not the yellow jacket. There's the Heir to the Empire comic
Oh, with
art
the,
on it
with
the
the
little animal.
yeah, and I
Islarmi
think
or
the
whatever.
sleeves were his sleeves were cut off and everything.
Yeah,
I
so
know.
they've had a few of these that like used
And
this
Jackson.
comic art before. Yes, and Jackson,
Jackson,
had the
yep.
art
Oh,
from
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
annual, which so I don't think there's a special like line designation for these, but we got a couple of these now. The Vader this is also Black Series, the Leia, and the Vader Infinities I believe also has the same style of box. I just didn't have an image with that one ready to go. But yeah, so they've been looking pretty good. Black Chrysanthemum's also the same style, so
Yeah, Black Series are a solid line of figures. That's the only type of figure I collect outside of the occasional vintage collection and the occasional like random, knockoff brand. But
yeah,
they're a really solid figure with like extremely accurate face sculpts. I mean, I have some from back in 2015 and they looked horrible.
gotten a
And there's
lot
some
better.
characters that they can just like never get right. Like Poe Dameron, they can never get right.
Mm.
Pedro Pascal can never get right, and that's still pretty recent. But they have like this photo real technology where the face, like, I mean, the new Rey figure from The Rise of Skywalker, the Dark Rey, practically indistinguishable from a picture of Daisy Ridley. It's insane. So if you're looking into like getting some of these comics figures, if you're obviously you're probably into comics if you're watching us, I highly recommend it. They've got great display value, and I think even the box, great display
The
value in itself.
The evolution of the Black Series box is very interesting because like the old black, I think the old black and red ones were just really ugly, to be honest. It was just
Yeah.
I agree.
very plain, and like
It's hard for me. I see those all the time, especially at the Disney stores. It's hard
Yeah.
for me to realize
Yeah.
to understand that that's the same series as what are coming out
I
now.
know.
Yeah, it's like
It's crazy how much of a difference a box makes.
Yeah.
right, because it's supposed to be marketed as like the premier line of Hasbro, and then you look at it, it's like I don't know, like
Is it though?
like the old style box doesn't seem like that. Then the newer, like thinking of like the refresh of the Rogue One line where they have like the
Mhm.
picture on the
Yes, it's,
side,
like,
those look
angular.
good, yeah. And these look even better. So, but moving on to the next one of that, we have Sergeant Creel from Task Force 99 in the Star Wars 2015 comic. So another cool figure, a bit of a deeper cut, compare at least in comparison to, well, I guess the idea of
Leia.
Darth Vader. Prom Vader's a very deep cut, but Darth Vader himself obviously not. So
Right.
This
I mean,
is
I was like
one
kind of
I
surprised
would-
that they picked this character, honestly. And I think Tyler, you're about to say that too, right?
Well, no, this is one I would just display at like this. Like normally
Oh,
I
yeah.
take them out. Normally I take them out and they sit. There's so much stuff back there. But
Same.
this guy, I would just leave the flap open like this, and
Yeah.
that's how I would display him. On my shelf.
Absolutely. I think without that art, it's almost hard to without the art and without the lightsaber, it's almost hard to distinguish him from a regular
100%.
stormtrooper.
Maybe
and I
that's
think
why
that's why they did it.
yeah, that's
This is
what a
why
lot of
they-
people are like.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
they-
just,
we had the
Stormtrooper
Star-
lightsaber. There you go.
Yeah, we had the stormtrooper model and like all the plastic ready to go. Let's just add a pauldron and a lightsaber and krill.
Exactly. They might have had like extras or something, and they're like, what can we do with these?
Yeah.
But hey, that's okay. I mean, it's still like for us comics fans, like still really cool. So no complaints from me.
This is another Black Series, of course. And then the last one, okay, I'm cheating because this is technically not a comic figure, but it's the same, like, it's a comic look we've seen. And also, Caleb, this is for you basically. We got
Yes.
a Lando, Donald Glover style Lando. This is a vintage collection, so it's the smaller 3.75 inch line. This is technically a Gaming Greats, which is like the GameStop version.
Really?
For
Battlefront?
Yes, because it's a Battlefront 1 skin. This is a gaming
Oh,
figure.
okay.
However, this is also a look that shows up in the Lando, not the Lando Charles Soule comic, but the Lando Double or Nothing miniseries. He still has
yeah.
this look. So
I want to be able to pose my action figures with that much swag. I mean,
Is.
I have never seen an action figure posed like that, where it's just that is the epitome of Lando's swag right there.
This is definitely the most dripped out Star Wars action figure I've seen in my entire life.
I love it. It could only be Lando, right?
Yeah. So yeah, those should all be on pre-order probably tomorrow at 1 p.m. Probably be checking like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment
Big Bad Toy
Earth,
Store.
Dorkside Toys, Amazon maybe.
Amazon might, but
maybe.
you know, they're sort of hit or miss
Amazon's
with
pretty
these.
hit and miss. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
just follow like Yak Face or Disc Trackers on Twitter.
Disk
and you'll
tracker.
know.
Yep.
definitely.
The one thing, yeah, like I said, if you don't know, if you're gonna live in a different place next year, I don't know if they will have pre-orders. Well, okay, Lando's gaming grade, so that will be GameStop 100%. But the other three should be wherever. I don't think they would be sold there, but don't buy from Walmart if you don't have to, because Walmart doesn't let you change your address after you've bought
Well,
it.
generally
so-
Walmart is horrible
Also
with
that.
handling action figures. Like
So
I never order from Walmart unless it's an exclusive, and even then, sometimes
It's
I
like,
wait for eBay because
yeah.
it's like they are not great with packaging. But like, also a quick side note before we move from this, because I get really amped up about collecting. So when when we get a chance to talk about it, I get excited. I would love to, like, I'm not affiliated with Big Bad Toy Store or anything, but I just want to rave about them for a second because I've had the best experiences with them. Like, I have been buying pretty much all of my collectibles from them for the last 2 years. And seriously, best experience every time. They have this really cool feature called like
Oh,
the pile of loot. So like, yeah, you don't have to like ship everything at the same time because they do charge for shipping, but it's $4 flat rate. So what I do is I save up all my pre-orders in my pile of loot, and then I choose a date to ship it all. You get 90 days from when it goes into your pile to ship it. And it's all $4 for like, you could do like 100 action figures or one, it's still $4. It's a great system. And every time they come in like pristine condition, the most bubble wrap I've ever seen. I love them so much. They're really awesome. I highly recommend.
yeah, and I believe like if you're like a really hardcore mint in box collector, I believe they have options
Yes.
to basically certify
do.
that you're going to get a
Yes, they
higher
do.
grade packaging. So like
They
if you're
do,
like I
yes.
want mint package, you can pay like a couple extra bucks to guarantee that.
Yeah, and for older ones, like if you want to save some money, they also have sometimes, depending on their stock, they have options to get like lower box quality. So if you don't save your boxes and take them out of the box and stuff, you can save a few bucks there. So really recommend them if you're going to pre-order these soon.
All right, let's move on from the toy talk, because as much as we all love to talk about the toys,
We could talk
do
about it
have-
all
what
day.
shows this
Oh yeah, we do. We do. We all have some form of toy collection that we sometimes that we all talk about and show. But we do want to talk about some comics. And while it was a slow week, we do have one issue on the weekly pull list this week, and that is Bounty Hunters 22. So Jacob, you've got that cover art and the details about this issue.
Yeah, so Tyler said it. You didn't hear him incorrectly. If you'll remember, last week there was one comic out and it was Bounty Hunters 21. This week there was one comic out and it is Bounty Hunters 22. That is very weird, but publishing in the year 2022, it holds no prisoners. So here we are. Like, look ahead, May 4th has like 6 comics coming out, and that's not a joke. So pacing is wild. But anyways, Bounty Hunters number 22, Chaos in Coronet City, written by Ethan Sachs with pencils by Paolo Villanelli. The covers by Giuseppe Camuncoli. The colorist is Arif Priento, and the letterer is Travis Lanham. And of course, as always, if you want to pick that up for yourself, you can use the link in the YouTube description down below.
Also, something to keep in mind: Free Comic Book Day is about a month away.
Already?
I know
Really?
my local comic store is already advertising for it. So now is the time to start doing some research for wherever your local comic
Oh
store
God,
is.
you're not kidding.
It's May 7th.
No.
It feels like it was just yesterday.
Oh,
No,
well, okay.
well,
the issue was
it-
2021 was pushed back because of COVID.
Yes,
Oh,
it
that's
normally
right,
is
yeah.
in May. In 2021, it was, I believe, in November, and now we are back on the regular schedule, which is normally in early May. And
Okay.
I'm telling you this now because a lot of local comic stores will have $1 back issues. They'll have 25% off or 30% off figures and trade paperbacks. So go start looking for your favorite local comic store now. Go see what sort of back issues they might have, ask them what sort of deals that they're running, and make sure that you're out there supporting those local comic stores, because they're awesome people, and they need our support. So if you are into physical comics, you've got about a month before Free Comic Book Day is out, because there will, I mean, if depending on how big of a town you're in, mine always has a line. Every Free Comic Book Day, my local comic store has a line. So make sure you know what you want, and maybe even start a poll before that day comes.
Yeah, you can check. Yeah, if it was November, if that was the last one, you can check out. We had an episode on that for more information. There is no Star Wars book. That's not surprising, because Marvel has never done a Star Wars Free Comic Book Day issue, and obviously we know IDW is no longer publishing Star Wars, so none this year. With Dark Horse, we might see that come back again next year. But yeah, no, you don't need to be in the store. It's May 7th is the date, so you don't need to. But good deals, of course.
All right, let's get into what we're loving, and I see a surprise from Jacob is the only thing that is listed on our show notes for this section. So
That's scary.
I'm turning it right back over to Jacob.
This is scary. So okay, so it is our 1-year anniversary, and I wanted to do something to celebrate and commemorate that. So I went back in the archives, folks, and I went back farther than you would think, because our first episode was, let me use a calendar, I believe April 7th, 2021. So I guess technically a year is tomorrow. It was April 7th. However, that was not the first episode we filmed, folks.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
We did a test stream probably like 2 or 3 weeks before the show went live, to try, and it was basically just, I think we did like a roundtable, maybe Dr. Afra,
I think so.
or Rise of Kylo Ren, something like that. We did a test episode to see how we could, work on our rapport and the live stream production aspects. So, well, YouTube saves it all. So I went back and got a clip of that. I went ahead and basically recorded our intros. I did it at 1.25 speed to, so you don't have to suffer through it quite as long. So if we sound weird, that's why. But I'm going to play it back for everyone to watch and see how the show first came together, as never before seen. This was not aired to anyone that was not a UTN staff member. So here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Force, the latest addition to the UTN Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Tyler Reganti. Thank you all for joining us for our very first episode. We are a Star Wars Expanded Universe podcast that will be providing everything you want to know about the amazing world of Star Wars comics. Before we go any further, I do want to introduce you to the rest of the team here on the Cosmic Force, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and I'll start with somebody you might recognize if you have visited some of our other YouTube content, and that's Emma Park. Emma, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. This is really exciting, getting to start the Cosmic Force. As Tyler mentioned, I've been in a bunch of UTN YouTube videos, so you probably recognize me there. If you don't recognize me from there, you might recognize me from our Discord, where I'm a moderator, and I'm really, really excited to start up this podcast.
Awesome. Now, our next host is Caleb Lamanick. Caleb, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great. It's good to be here. I'm a staff writer with the UTN network, so I've been helping out a lot behind the scenes, but this will be my first face forward production here. So it's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to talking some great comments, making some great comments, and looking forward to being a part of the community. And of course, we couldn't have gotten here without our wonderful producer, Mr. Jacob Bosch.
There you go.
Wrong one. That's you, Jacob.
It's okay. Well, hello there. Yeah, like you said, my name is Jacob, and I joined UTN, I guess around 2 months ago now, almost 3. I can't. Time is a mystery. But I basically have been here just for the purpose of comics, helping with this show and helping also with all the brand new written comic content you're seeing on the website. So, yeah, you can say I kind of like this stuff. But I'm happy to be here and happy to be chatting about comic books with everyone in the group.
Yes, comics has been a big conversation in all of our Slack channels and everything behind the scenes. So it's really exciting to be able to be here, talk to all of you tonight. We are the.
So yeah, that was that. I'm sorry that was a little quiet, but I did pull that clip about 20 minutes before we started. So yeah. We've come a long
That was
way, I
Luckily-
will say.
We have come a
Luckily, we
long
are
way.
all much more comfortable with each other and,
Yes.
and have a lot more fun. I mean, as much fun as that was, we have a lot more fun now. So thank you for
Definitely.
that 5 minutes of embarrassing content.
It was
there,
two.
Jacob.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It
Only
felt
two.
like a lot more than that.
Yeah.
It lasted
No.
for a while.
I mean, guys, if anything, that makes me feel so good about ourselves. Like, I mean, we all look so much better in front of, like, our cameras are figured out now. Like, we sound so much better. We sound more confident. We're actually like friends now. We'd only known each other for like a couple weeks then. So it's all good. So that was
Jacob,
fun, Jacob. Thanks for doing that.
You were what, 6 weeks old from a UTini staff?
Ish. Yeah,
perspective,
I'd been there for
something
like
like that?
2 months or so. I think I came.
Yeah.
I think I came on. I want to say the beginning of February because it was like right after the Utini summit was basically when they brought me in. So and then
Yeah.
we started. Well, I guess at that point that recording was probably like mid to late March. So yeah, month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, been a long
Wow.
time. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about this last year and all of our favorite arcs, our favorite moments. So let's take a short break and then we'll be right back.
It's the best back cover since Star Wars Episode 1 hardcover novelization. The one with young Anakin, because on the back, just to remind y'all, is a full headshot of Watto.
It's so big. It's
I think
so
I brought
large.
this up on one of the earliest episodes of the Living
my
Force
God, yeah.
ever, and I thought I'd bring it back.
Oh my god, yeah.
Series and all of Legends. What do you guys think? Could it be the X-Wing series? Might just be the
It
most
was pretty steamy.
romance intensive series ever. And we're not just talking about the scene where Corran Horn describes his love affair with an otter. I mean, a Salonian that he hooked up with her and then he broke out in chives.
Yeah, not chives.
In
Not
chives.
chives.
What's it called? The bumps?
Hives, dude. Hives.
Chives
so
go under
sorry.
potato.
I'm hearing you say the same thing.
Chives,
What
what
is-
you put on the under potato. No C. Hives.
Hives.
Not chives.
What'd I say?
Chives.
It's not a very common story to approach. Yeah, again, drawing the complex family tree of Django to clone identical son to clone all identical millions of sons, but they're a generation older. So then the son is kind of all Django's equal, but then Boba is a generation younger, but then that clone's son is Boba's age, but then is Boba his dad or his nephew or his uncle or his cousin? It's like
All right, we are back and we are talking about the last year of this show. So, as we said at the top of the show, this is episode 49. We've had 49 numbered episodes. We've had one bonus episode. And then I think we took some time off. That time between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's always gets a little wonky. So that explains if you're saying, wait a minute, you only did 50 episodes, you only have 49 episodes. What's going on? You guys can't do math. Well, we can't. But
that's also true. Yes.
That is still true. But the reason is because we've had we've had some fun times. So we decided to say, you know what? Let's just talk about favorites. Let's discuss what our favorite titles were, what our favorite moments were, and that's kind of what the show is going to be about tonight. So, our first topic, reminiscing topic of the night, is going to be our favorite title / arc from the past year. I'm going to mix it up. Normally we have the same rundown for every single time, but to make it fun, we're going to mix it up here. For this first one, I am going to go in order though. So Emma, you are listed first on the show notes. So what was your favorite title arc of the past year?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of great comics for our first year, you guys. It's pretty crazy. But this one, it wasn't even a close call for me because this was like easily an all-time favorite Star Wars memory that I will always have. And that is when Kira appeared in War of the Bounty Hunters. I believe that was War of the Bounty Hunters #1. And I remember that we had literally started the show like a few weeks before that. And to read that, you know, uh, on a Wednesday morning and just see Kira appear. And I hadn't been on Twitter yet. I hadn't seen anything about it. And I was like freaking out. I was like screaming to the point where like my sister was like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, Kira's back. And she's like, oh, that's great. I have no idea what you're talking about. But I feel like I'm always going to remember that. It felt like such a special moment because I feel like, you know, it's easy to get like emotional with the movies and stuff, but I feel like it's a little bit harder to do in, you know, physical or I guess like books and comics. And for me to get like that, like viscerally emotional about it was so special. And I had been waiting for Kira to come back for so long. And the fact that they did it in one of my favorite mediums in Star Wars meant a ton to me. I also want to give like a quick aside to Trail of Shadows because I think that was by far the most amazing character development that's happened this year. And if you have, you know, listened to me on like videos or, you know, Living Force, anything like that, you know that character development is my favorite part of what books and comics do. And so I definitely wanted to point that out as well. But yeah, you can't go wrong with some Kira, but everything was awesome, I must say. So it was a hard pick, but at the same time, not really.
I think the Wednesday of War of the Bounty Hunter issue 1 was the most takeover moment of comics in Utini.
For sure.
At least in the Slack, in our staff Slack, when that popped up, it was, I mean, I think Charles, Andrew, Corey, I mean, I think 3 or 4, 5 non-comics readers, we were like, no, you need to go get this issue right now.
Like they bought it because we told them to. Like,
yes.
You have to do this. You do not want to be spoiled. Go buy it. And they literally did. And then we just had a huge party about it. It was great.
We have that sort of power.
We do.
Yeah. Well, at least we did for one day. We did for one day. So, all right. Jacob, you are next on the list here. So I'm going to go ahead and ask what your favorite title of the past year has been.
Yeah, so I cheated. So because the prompt said title or arc, and I chose an arc. It just happens that story arc is compounded into one issue. It's a standalone issue, and that is behind me, Star Wars number 20.
Good pick.
Yeah. So before that came out for a very long time, Bausch was my favorite comic story that came out in the past year. But then this happened, and Bausch is still my I love it. It's my favorite. I talk about it way too much. But Star Wars 20 did something very special because as much as we all loved War of the Bounty Hunters, it was a very intensive read. It dominated basically the entire comic landscape for like 4 months, which is by the end of it, it gets a little you're a little tired, and you need something new and fresh. And that for me was Star Wars 20. It was the first time we'd seen Luke go on explore more of his Jedi journey since issue 11 maybe. It had been a while, especially with all the delays, and so it was exciting to see him go back to that just for a little bit. And then it also brought in so many other cool characters. Well, it brought in Elzar Mann. I'll just say, Elzar Mann to give him this kind of vision quest journey of being a Jedi, and it I don't know, it's just the perfect little single issue. So that is my favorite for the past year by far.
Yeah, I love that pick, and I also love that pick as a video editor because it gave us by far the most images of Elzar Mann. Yep. Yes, exactly. I mean, there are literally only 2 other official images of him outside of this comic, so I really appreciate this comic for many reasons.
Yeah, the comic, the target cover of The Rising Storm.
Yeah.
And is he on Light of the Jedi? Is he on the cover of
yes.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm pretty sure.
That is it.
Yeah.
The other ones are just fan art and stuff like that. Yeah, it's bottom of the barrel, especially when you're talking about something like The Fallen Star, which he is the star of.
My favorite,
One of the stars.
weird High Republic like character art is Des Ryden from Into the Dark, and like the only like I think his Wikipedia page probably still has this where it's like it's just a black silhouette. At some point there was like an official posting of like all the characters of Into the Dark, and it was just like a black silhouette of like a generic male figure, and that was Des Ryden.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, High Republic.
right.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I was gonna say, Caleb, what is your favorite arc of this past year?
It on point. It's almost like we planned it, even though we didn't. I'm just going to say High Republic, the Marvel run, Volume 3, the last story arc, the last 5-6 issues, like the kind of escalation that happens there as it's tying in with not only the novel The Fallen Star, but also the fellow comic The Right Trail of Shadows. And it's just some like really great peak comic moments. So like reading it kind of hand in hand. I think I read like the last issue just as I finished reading Fallen Star, and that really hit it all together. So that kind of moment of this is what the High Republic is doing, this is how it's tying it all together, seeing like the culmination of all these characters, like even the last issue's cover is a great callback to issue 1 cover. So there's a lot going on with the High Republic Volume 3, and I loved every panel of it.
All right, my favorite arc, it's kind of both of the arcs from Darth Vader from last year, both Into the Fire, Into the Fire and Dark Heart of the Sith, because the way that they tied in Exegol to the greater Star Wars universe was very well done. And I don't remember the conversations vividly, but I do remember the conversations in the Star Wars Comics channel, Discord channel, that around that time, like this was the one book we were like, does this have to be part of the War of the Bounty Hunters? Can we like just keep talking about this and keep going on with this? And I just thought that was really cool. Like that is the sort of world building that I love to see from my novels, that and that is the opportunity that as Emma alluded to earlier, that is what makes this medium so great, is we can see these moments, we can see these little things. Even Ochi, it's why Ochi is one of my favorite characters, is because they really get to be showcased a lot more in comics. And that's why that's why comics are so amazing. But yeah, those two, it's really the end of Into the Fire and the beginning of Dark Heart of the Sith, where he, I believe he goes to Exegol. That was a really, really cool moment. And I did not want that book to go into War of the Bounty Hunters. So yeah, that was an easy pick for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean, we talked about that quite a bit, and I did not expect this from a Darth Vader comic, especially coming like I'm coming from a place of like I was good with Vader. Like we got a lot of Vader in comics already. Let's move on to something else. But, you know, I was shocked, and I was proven wrong, and that's okay. Like it was really solid. And who would have thought that some like background character that we saw for a few seconds in The Rise of Skywalker would suddenly become the titular character in this year's run of comics? It's like it's insane.
It was really it was like, oh wait, we can have Sabe in Vader comics. Suddenly, I'm the biggest Vader fan. yeah, exactly. The Amidalans, Rick Olay, like, come on.
All right, now let's talk. Let's talk about the show itself here and our favorite moments from the show. And I'm going to go first this time, because my first selection, Jacob stole, because I didn't get into the notes until late, so I'm going to leave that. My second selection, I was like, okay, well, that's fine. Emma stole, so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to dive even deeper into that. And I would say I'm kind of taking a little bit of a cop out here. It would be it isn't a specific moment, but I would say episode 5, when we as a show, we started hitting our groove around that period. We had our first 2 shows were brand new. We had just had our first roundtable with issue 3. So issue 5 or episode 5 was when we really started to get a little bit more comfortable with ourselves, a little bit more comfortable with everything that we were doing. so that's kind of my, since I can't go to my two top ones, that is my favorite moment, because we really got to start clicking as a team and as a show. Honorable mention to the, I don't know the episode round or the episode number, but the High Republic Adventures issue or episode. I don't know why I'm saying issue tonight, because that was the episode that my 8-year-old was able to read it and gave us his amazing rendition and interpretation of that trade paperback. So those are my two nominations. So
I love those.
Caleb, I'm gonna
episode
go ahead.
22 was that episode number 22.
All right.
22. Wow.
Yeah.
I
It
was
feels like it was more recent than that.
Exactly. I thought it'd been like episode 35 or something.
I think the part of it is the fact that there was a huge gap between volumes 1 and 2 of that series.
That's true.
So like, you're probably like, oh, a couple months before. No, it was a long time.
That's very accurate.
All right, Caleb, your favorite moment from the show.
I'm going to listen. If you try to cop out, I'm definitely copping out here. This one was episode 14, the Lando Roundtable. Again, it is just like Mutiny at Mount Kala is Emma's. Lando, the 2015 series, is mine. It was great. It was everything I wanted. It's my favorite comic of Star Wars, talking with my favorite comic friends, being able to talk to you guys about this, bounce ideas off of you, do a little deep dive into it. Just a really great time. So I think that's also the first that was the time I showed off that cape there. So
that was your first cosplay episode.
Exactly.
Well, no, you're technically your second cosplay episode, because episode 3 you kind of sort of did an Indiana Jones
exactly
cosplay.
Exactly. So a lot more in the future, hopefully. And a quick shout out to the episode actually right before that, episode 13, where was the Meet the Hosts episode. That was a really nice time to just sit back, not really talk about comics too much, but just get to know each other a little bit more, share with you, our audience, about who we are and where we're at. And that was just a little fun episode. Maybe we should do like a sequel to that. Maybe we should do a sequel. Maybe the second year will just be a sequel to the first year, and we'll just do everything all over again. So in 14 episodes, we'll do Lando Double or Nothing.
Hey, not a bad idea. All right, Jacob, your favorite moment from the show.
Yeah, so my favorite moment, of course, the one that I did steal from Tyler, as I do, is the comic book collecting episode. That was episode 26, which is also longer ago than I thought it was. Because it just let me, it was like, I mean, it was me being able to nerd out in ways that I don't normally do, in like the more like behind the scenes part of collecting, like, talking about CGC and going to conventions and like showing off what a barcode means on a comic book, like stupid like niche stuff like that there's never any reason to talk about in a regular show. It can be kind of fun sometimes. So, and like going into different types of bags and boards, and like it was like just like the most like, okay, we're just gonna let Jacob be like a weirdo for like an hour kind of episode. And I appreciate that. So yeah, that was my favorite. Also special shout out, of course, to our one unnumbered episode where Emma, myself, and Eric got to interview Daniel Jose Older right around the time of Race Crash Point Tower and High Republic Adventures Volume 1. That was, of course, a dream. So yeah, those two are probably my favorite for this past year.
I love it. And by the way, like the first episode that you mentioned about the collecting is not stupid, because I don't remember the last time I learned so much in an hour.
It was
like legit. It was great.
And she's actively taking classes.
That's true. I mean, that should say a lot.
and of course, third, if I had another honorable mention, of course, is our Shadows of the Empire for the for all of our Shizor talk, of course. Yes.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's like all right. It's like
all right. Well, I'll say let's bring this back in and go to Emma and what's your favorite moment of the show?
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, the unnumbered Daniel Jose Older interview, like Jacob mentioned. I mean, it was just so cool. It was like the first time I got to talk to an author. Well, I still haven't gotten to talk to another one since, but it was great. So yeah, that was a ton of fun. But I have to say that other than that, my favorite was another one that Tyler wanted to pick, but I got to it before him. episode 43, called Crazy Comics Moments We Love. That was, other than the recent Living Force episode I was on where we were all, kind of thirsting over High Republic characters, other than that, it was the hardest I've ever laughed on a podcast. And it was great because Tyler just brought out the most just wackiest, wildest stuff I didn't even know was possible. I mean, you said something about Leia changing this person's density so he fell through the planet's core. I will never forget that. Like, I thought I was gonna like die. I was laughing so hard. It was great. And I think that, like, in a more serious sense, it was great to go back to the root of why we love comics, is that they're pretty wacky, and they've always been wacky, and that's one of the things that we love about them. So it was fun to kind of relive some of the wackiest of wacky moments.
So the reason that I wanted to choose those two is because those, we have show notes for every single show, and we do our best to kind of stick to it, and we plan it out. We don't ever time it out because we always say, oh, this is gonna be a short episode, and then we run an hour and 45 minutes. But those were the two episodes where I don't want to say we went off script, but we just hung out. Those were by far the two best just hang out, talk about comics episodes that we've had, and that's what made those two shows so fun for me, and what really stuck out for me. I am still working on trying to either make it a segment or a regular segment or something about this time, another about crazy moments from the original run. It's percolating in my head.
Down for that.
I'm still working on it. I haven't had a chance to get too much work on it yet, but I'm working on getting that into a regular bit, because there's some crazy stuff that happens in those original runs.
There's 107 issues, so that means we can at least get 107 segments out of that.
That's like 2 more years.
And that's only assuming we're taking one issue.
Yeah, one per issue. Yes, it's at least
one per issue. So
there's got to be at least 2 or 3 per issue at least. Mm-hmm. I mean, this stuff was wild.
Oh yeah, those were some fun times. So I'm very glad that those were. I was very happy to see that those moments were stolen from me, and that's what I get for not coming into the show notes, but until 15 minutes before we go live to enter in all of my information. So I get what I get what I deserve there. All right, so after we do have some favorite moments and comments from fans of the show. We'll get to that in just a moment, but we're going to take a moment now. We're going to talk about the next year and what we're looking forward to for the next year. We're going to kind of go from the middle of the pack here, and so Caleb, I'm going to pick you first. As far as what is the thing that you are looking most forward to for this next year?
What am I most looking forward to this year? I think it's going to have to be the Han Solo and Chewbacca comic. I reread the first issue because it came out, it feels like a while ago, and I'm excited for the next issue, which comes out May the 4th. And I just love a good heist and grift flick, and that's what they appear to be setting up here. Again, it's not been advertised as a limited series, so if this continues going strong, we could be seeing years and years out of this comic. And I'm excited. I really want to see a lot more coming out of this. I think it's a fun timeline of the pre-movies. You'll get to see Han Solo before Luke essentially reminds him how to be a good guy. There's a lot going on here, and I'm just real excited for just seeing him and Greedo butt heads a lot more. So I just want to see where this goes. That's where I'm at.
Okay, all right. For me, I'm gonna make myself go second here. I am really excited about the amount of content, the new content that we're gonna put out for you guys in this next year. As we've said before, Emma's going to Celebration. I am also going to Celebration, and we're talking. We don't have anything in concrete yet, but we're trying to determine what can we do. This is a special event. This is what can we do for that? We've got some other secret projects that we can't talk about yet that are in the works, and the fact that comics are becoming more mainstream. We've got Chrysanthemum in the Book of Boba Fett. We've got Hasbro having comics, inspired action figures. It is going to be more mainstream to be talking about Star Wars comics in 2022 and 2023. And I am very excited that we are already here talking about this stuff in advance of all the stuff, and all this mainstream stuff. So I cannot wait to be able to really, I don't want to say be proud of being a comics, reader and comics expert and all that, because that's, you don't need to be talking about that in the sense of, what your interests are, but really being able to look at, canon book readers and legends book readers, like, oh, hey, what about this stuff that's happening in comics? And it really is becoming, Corey sort of had this, premonition that he wanted comics to be the third pillar of Utini. And we were kind of ahead of the time there, because I really do think that comics is becoming a very important part of Star Wars, content, and it's going to be exciting to experience that, both with you guys here on the show and you guys listening and tuning in every week. So that's what I'm looking forward to this year. Emma, I'm going to go ahead and ask what you are looking forward to coming up.
Yeah, so I kind of have two, one comics related and one, like, I don't know, comics adjacent, I guess you could say. I'll start with the comics related one. I'm very excited for the Obi-Wan comic that's coming up soon. And especially what we have planned for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I can't really say much more about that, but it's going to be a fun week right around there, sometime in May. It's going to be fun. And yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff planned, and I can't wait for you to see what that's going to be like. And then, I was kind of thinking about, some more things as we were talking, I'm all in my feelings now. So, I'm definitely just so excited for Celebration. Like, that is absolutely what I'm most excited for, because, and not even because of any of the panels or anything like that, really just because I get to meet so many Utini staff members, and, Tyler included. I just, like, legitimately can't wait to give everybody a hug. Like, it's gonna be like the coolest moment. And I can't wait for everybody to hear about how Celebration went. And, Utini, we've got some really, really cool stuff planned for Celebration as well. And I can't wait for everybody to see how that turns out too. So yeah, I'm just so excited to meet everybody in person, see what everybody's like in person. I mean, we only ever see each other from, like, the chest up. So, just to see what you guys are like, I think it's going to be so much fun. So I really can't wait to just give you guys a big hug.
Corey's like 6'6", right?
Somewhere around there. Like, yeah, he has 6 toes on his left foot and 6 toes on his right foot.
Yeah. I mean, the problem
is 6'6".
Yeah, I can't, like, we have the running joke of Corey being the short one, but the problem is I'm pretty sure I'm shorter than Corey, so, like, I can't really say a whole lot.
I'm pretty sure I asked Corey one time how tall he was, and he was like higher, like slightly higher than average for a man, I would say.
Yeah, he's taller.
I'm exactly 6 foot, so I'm not necessarily like
much taller than myself.
Me. I think Jacob, you said that we were the same height, right?
I think we were close. So you had mentioned something about, like, or no, Jared said in Slack at one point, I was like, oh yeah, Emma's like actually pretty tall. I'm like, uh-oh. But no, I'm like, I think maybe an inch taller than you. So, I got that going for me, I guess.
Dr. Hankel's in the chat. He says 4'6" is Corey's height. So.
He must have had some removed. So 4 on his left foot, 6 on his.
Anyways,
I'll definitely have to report to you guys, like, how tall he actually is, and we'll be sure to, like, count his toes.
We'll take a class photo.
We'll
take a class photo and have him kneel down in the front row.
I'm I think the only person here who's actually met him. So yeah, I'm not spoiling.
I was to say you guys are friends in real life, right?
IRL,
I keep forget. Yes. So, all right, and that leaves Jacob. You are what is something that you need to that you were excited for?
Yeah. So, I mean, from a comic standpoint, Justin brought it up in the chat that Hidden Empire is exciting. Like, obviously, beyond that, like, yeah, just Crimson Reign into Hidden Empire is a very exciting time just to see where this, like, era of Star Wars comics is going. Probably Hidden Empire probably won't finish up this year. It'll be probably pretty close, but delays. So let's be real. But beyond that, for the show, I'm very excited to see what happens this summer because I won't be here. So yeah, fun fact, I am in law school, and I have a summer, and my summer is going to be spent literally on the other side of the globe working for a law firm. So it is exciting, but with a 12-hour time difference, that does not really make conducive a live podcast. So
I mean, you could instead of ending your Wednesdays, you could start your Thursdays, right? Is it Thursdays?
yeah, it'll be 8 a.m. on Thursday for me.
So
when
you
this
could start your
episode goes live.
Thursdays with us.
That is true. That is an option. Although I do have to go to my work day to start at 8 a.m. So it's gonna be a little rough. Also, I'm not exactly sure what the internet situation is there. So
Oh, true.
yeah. So generally not gonna be really easy to do. So I'm pretty much gonna be out of the podcast for May through probably to play it safe, like mid to late August, between being halfway across the world and then coming back and moving to a new apartment and getting ready for the semester. So a lot of stuff going on, but I'm very excited to see what this show does in the meantime. Obviously, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure this transition is smooth. But yeah, I'm very happy to hand it off to my more than capable co-host, and I'm excited to see what they do when they're not tied down to me. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun
And
time.
we are, as Jacob alluded to, we are trying to figure out ways that that you aren't completely absent from the show for that entire time period. Seeing if we can get some check-ins from you, or having you send over some of your some comments and stuff depending on the topics. But yeah, we're all super excited for that opportunity for you.
Absolutely.
And we will keep the seat warm for you when you return, because it'll be a lot of fun to have you back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I'm sure by the end of it, I will be glad to hand over OBS back to you.
You mean you don't love doing live production? It's not your,
It's
not,
like
not your
mildly
passion.
stressful. It's mildly stressful for myself and for my laptop, but
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah. Well, just
It's
hit
okay.
live,
We'll make do.
hit go live, and just what could go wrong?
Hit go live and pray. That's the two steps. Jacob left me a checklist.
Hey, here's
Those are
the
the only two
here's
things
the
on it.
thing. You might not. You might have to do one High Republic Adventures roundtable, but after that, the curse is over, and you should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get the
we've
special
had
one
some-
from Europe.
Yeah, the High Republic Adventure trade paperbacks are our Queen's
Shadow.
Queen's Shadow for the Living Force, where I had for trade paperback number 1, I had a personal issue.
Also, my computer
literally at
10 minutes in.
8:01. No, it was like
No, it was right before.
8:01.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we were like about to go, and you're like, wait, hold on, my phone, I'm gone, and then
Yeah, yep.
Well,
I had
and
a
that was
personal
the
matter I had to take care of.
That was the second attempt, because the first attempt, my internet
that's
crashed
right.
in the
Oh,
most
that's
right.
right.
It was like the most bizarre fashion ever. It was like we were about to go
It's
live.
the curse of the
I
adventure.
sent the
Yeah.
tweet, and we got excited because DJO responded to it. I'm like, oh yeah, and then my internet was like, okay, so it's like the internet, it doesn't work except you can hear people on Zoom, but nothing else works. I'm like, okay, and then
the
eventually
second-
just
and
hard
then the
crashed.
s- And then the second one was a couple weeks ago, where I was on a new computer and my internet wasn't working, and all of a sudden I'm talking, and then I hear the rest of them screaming in my head because I'm apparently not. Nobody else can hear me talk. So yeah, these books, they don't like us apparently. So
Yeah,
We
I
like,
wonder
we like
what,
them.
I-
The feeling is not mutual.
we
though.
like them. We
them,
love them.
yes.
Well, we also did give Volume 2 the worst score I
Hey.
think we've ever given to a non.
I
that
still
is-
love it though.
That is not the story's fault.
exactly.
It is not. It is.
Also,
it is the.
I have to
Go ahead.
say, I wonder. So, okay, we've got Queen's Shadow is the cursed book for Living Force. Ours is High Republic Adventures, literally any of them.
Mhm.
I wonder what Legends Look Back's cursed book is, or if they have one yet. I would love to know.
That's interesting.
Jared, when you're
I'll-
listening to this later, please let us know. We would love to know.
All right, so we also asked again, as Emma said at the top of the show, we couldn't be doing the show for an entire year without you guys and the support that our Patreon provides to us, our Discord provides to us, you guys here live on YouTube. So we asked, we put a call out on all of our channels for some of our staff and community's favorite moments and comments. And we have a good list here. Eric's favorite moment was Caleb's Lando Cape reveal. We already alluded to that earlier. Yes, Caleb, you are, like I said, the best cosplayer of the show.
And just
So-
like generally the best dressed. I mean, pretty
That
much
too,
always wears a
absolutely.
tie. Like, yeah,
it was
absolute
like-
MVP for that.
It was
We
like
gotta-
a month ago. I think I was on Legends Look Back for like it was like basically a Legends out like fashion show, and they're straight up like, yeah, we tried to get Caleb, but he couldn't make it. So I'm like, that's fair, honestly. Like, I don't blame you. It's been
a while since it's been a while since we checked in with your ties, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Like, they're still there. They're still good. I haven't added too much more to the collection, but maybe soon. Maybe soon.
Well, you know,
I got this on right now,
Yeah.
so that's the most exciting thing.
ties are out of season right now, Tyler. You gotta understand that.
That's true. That is true. That
A
is
man of culture like Caleb does get that. So
I'm in Florida, so ties are always out of season for me.
That's
So
fair.
I don't know when ties come and go. So
Listen, Caleb, if Tyler and I see a cool tie somewhere at Celebration, I think we're gonna have to get it for you, man.
I will wear it.
I support that. I support
will
that
wear
100%.
it.
Yeah. Of course.
So you guys are gonna have to remind me because I sort of remember this, but Timothy said hot dog Boba Fett, the birth of another
Oh.
Utini meme. I vaguely remember this, but somebody refresh my memory.
We were talking about Shadows of the Empire. Not
Okay.
Shadows of the Empire.
Dark Empire.
Dark Empire. Yes, Dark Empire.
Yep.
Boba Fett shows up, and we're talking about panel layout of how
yes,
certain panels
hamburger panels and
For some
hot
reason,
dog panels.
I'm like 99% sure this like randomly came out of my mouth.
Yes, it
And then
did.
like,
Yes, I
became
do
a
remember that.
meme. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like said all the time on Legends Look Back. I feel so proud
Yeah,
of that.
they say it way more than we do. Like the fact that we
We do,
can't
yeah,
remember it
exactly.
yet, it's like, Legends Look Back's like, oh yeah, hot dog Boba Fett.
I totally forgot like what we were talking about, but I definitely remember that randomly came out of my mouth for like a hot second, and it didn't make any sense to me, but it just came out of my mouth, and like now it's a meme. I love it.
It was the meme part that I didn't remember because it was I think we were talking about panel layout
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
you got hot dog panels, you got hamburger panels. That I do remember that part. Yes, that was absolutely you, Emma. But it was the meme part that I didn't remember. So I'm glad that we are inspiring our sister shows with content.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go back tonight and like try to find that because I mean it's iconic, but we don't even know it. Like that's how
I know.
iconic it is, I guess.
All right, Emma, you want to read the next two moments here?
Yeah, absolutely. So Carl from Slack says the episode he was on, and that was episode 7, which is beginning reading lists with Carl. And yeah, that was kind of like us helping him get into comics. By the way, Carl, we loved having you on. And we should really follow up with Carl.
Check in with him.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
absolutely.
See if
we
he's
really
read
should.
any of them.
I know we should actually. This is a good idea. This is actually good because I'm starting to plan out a little bit ahead. So I'm gonna reach out to you, Carl. Just you wait. So yeah, thank you, Carl, for that. And then Rick from Slack, he said, "I'm afraid of comics. There's so much I don't know. I remember one of the first times I was able to catch the show," and then he says in parentheses, "I work when the show is live," was one of the Mutiny at Moncala episodes. I had just picked up the trade paperback. You guys really got me excited to jump in and not be afraid to get going and make progress. Happy show anniversary." And then he says, "Show anniversary?" Thank you, Rick. That makes me so happy for like a multitude of reasons. Like number one, we love helping people get into comics. Like that is pretty much why we are here. But I also love that you decided to jump into Mutiny at Moncala. I would definitely have recommended that to you if you had asked. And if you do want to ask us, not you, Rick, but like anybody, I mean, Rick, you can ask too if you'd like, but if anybody out there wants a personal recommendation like we gave to Carl way back when, and like I kind of like forced into Rick's brain, like, telepathically, definitely shoot us a message. We'd love to give you a personalized recommendation. We love doing that.
Yeah,
So
and
thank you, Rick.
A good place for that is we specifically have a place in Discord. It's they get a recommendation channel. If you're asking for comics, we'll definitely try and stop by and help it out. But it's also cool to see what some of the other community members think. There are always plenty of knowledgeable, helpful people over there to help you, find the next story you might want to go after.
Absolutely. Speaking of Discord, we start having some chats here from Discord. Probably we'll start with the heavy hitter here. This was probably the best comment I think we've ever received in our show history yet, but this is from Admiral Akbar 1983. So as he posted, the scene is about this time last year. A bit later, actually seen as first episode. The didn't drop until on the Apple Podcast for a tad bit of time, and I'm moving country. My only prior experience with Star Wars comics was the stint with Comixology Unlimited, so I was still in a bit of a novice state. Then you guys came along. I was amazed by the whole new world at my fingertips. I loved it. I really did. And then I moved, and you guys were still there. War of the Bounty Hunters was there. You kept me sane during the whole new period of uncertainty. I purchased the first War of the Bounty Hunters prelude back in North Yorkshire, the first episode in Virginia, and the second with my family in Massachusetts. At the end of the new comic book, and I got the rest of my new comic book store across the country. Star Wars comics is something very special, and so are you.
That literally made me tear up when I read it the first time I was in class. It literally, it seriously means so much. Thank you, Admiral Akbar. So much thought was put into that message, and it just means so much that we, helped you get through that rough period. And yeah, just thank you for that message. It means a ton.
Absolutely.
I mean, Akbar said it perfectly, and Emma said it. Your comments, perhaps sums it up perfectly. So, thank you, Akbar, Akbar 1983, for joining us. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. I hope I pronounced it right, of North Yorkshire. So, next up we have Diligent Sloth via Discord.
Love the name.
They said they really enjoyed the Rise of Kylo Ren roundtable, just because it made me appreciate the comic a whole lot more. And that's kind of why we do roundtables, is so we can engage with you, our audience, talk a lot about a comic for a very specific period of time. As weird as it sounds, our podcast issues are, an hour long, and even on some of the shorter ones, we'll still talk about the actual subject for 30-40 minutes, and you can read the comic in that much time. So we're spending almost more time talking about it than it takes to read, but it helps to take a moment, reread it, go back through some of the nuance, and pull some new things out. So that's always encouraging to know that people are getting something about our wild ramblings about this Star Wars comic that we read 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even after talking about it, it's kind of funny. We all have this pattern of most of the time we all increase our score. So it definitely makes us appreciate it more. And so I'm happy that other people find that listening to the discussion also helps them appreciate them more. So that's awesome.
Definitely.
All right, and Jacob, do you want to get this last one?
Yeah. So, our one of our tandem community art of the week kings, Moonflyer Dave, along with, of course, Blind Fates, has a few favorite moments. His first one, of course, shouts out back to the Lando Cape. Can't forget that. He also shouted out one of Tyler's favorite moments, which was his son coming on to help review High Republic Adventures, Volume 1. It's very cool to see someone in the target demographic talk about those books, because it's fun. It's fun when we do it, and it's fun when the Living Force, a bunch of 28-year-old dudes talk about YA books. But it's also fun when the people that the stories are meant for get to kind of give their opinions as well. So. And then also the interview with Daniel Jose Older. So he's really hitting all he hit all the high notes there. So I appreciate that. And hopefully we get a cool list next year to reflect back on as well. So definitely excited to see what happens there.
Yeah, speaking of Dave and Blind Fates, you guys, thank you so much. You guys have been so active in our Discord channel. I mean, we've had a bunch of people active in there, but you two in particular really drove the conversation in there over the last year, and giving arts of the week. And yeah, special shout out to you two. You guys are amazing. Thank you for watching us every week. You guys are great.
Yeah, I mean, as we get to wrapping up this show, we've said it, 3 times already, and we'll say it again. Our community and our viewers and listeners, or whatever it is that you all call yourselves, are the reason that we continue to do the show. It's I enjoy coming and hanging out with the 3 of you co-hosts with every week. But it's seeing the comments and seeing the people in the chat that really make it special. We all have busy lives, and we all are constantly doing things, and I don't want to speak for my co-host, but I'm sure I can when I say that there have been times where it's like, I just don't want to do the show this week. But we do, because we've made a commitment to you guys, and you all show us support, and we want to make sure that we're here for you guys when when you want us to be. So thank you guys again, and I'll give everybody else a chance to kind of say one final comment before we wrap up.
Yeah, I can take it here. This last year has been so special. I was definitely nervous about starting a regular live podcast, because I was used to doing videos, and that is not live in front of an audience, and you can edit yourself and make yourself look nice, and this is so much scarier, and for so many different reasons. But everybody has been so supportive along the way, and obviously big thank you to everybody that listens, but also, we haven't mentioned this yet, gigantic thank you to everybody on the Youtini staff that's helped us out.
Yes.
In particular, Corey, and for helping us get the equipment, and Wes for helping us set up things with the tech, and Charles, he gave us a lot of feedback on like our hosting and our practice runs. Same thing with Eric. Jared was also very supportive along the way. I'm sure I'm missing some other people, but really, I mean, also a huge shout out to Timothy. He filled in a few episodes here and there. It was really key in supporting us along the way. So yeah, just thank you to everybody on Youtini for helping make this happen. It's really special, and I'm just so glad that I get to do this every week. And I'm glad that I have 3 really awesome new friends just from doing this.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'll get a few words in here. Thank you. As I said, thank you to my audience. Thank you to everyone who's watched and supported us. It's been a blast doing this last year, and I can't wait to do it for the next year and the year after. It's nice to have as weird as the date as it is, doing this on Wednesday camp gives my whole week camp a pull to rotate around. It's I have the days to get excited for the show. I do a lot of the show notes, so it gives me something creative to do during the week, to type out these notes and read things and do the research and get ready for it. If my co-hosts are lucky, I might get it done the Monday, like that
snapshot of the defense.
Friday, so they can actually plan out and get the right notes over and images over the weekend. I'm not always on top of that, but they are always appreciative and gracious here. So the more we can get, we've been doing this, the better we've gotten. And I'm just ready for the next year to really start growing and do a lot more with the show. Nothing crazy, but we got some good stuff down the line. And just everyone on the team of Youtini is just so great. Like, a specific shout out to Jared, because he's like one of the best people we pull in just to randomly help out. If we need to talk about Legends comic, he's always here and always willing to hop on. Timothy too, he did a great job, so maybe we'll be tagging you in the next couple of months when we need someone to keep that seat warm. So I'm just excited about the future, and I just really have enjoyed every Wednesday night with all of you.
All right, Jacob, leaves
Yeah,
you.
I guess that's me. It's I think Tyler mentioned earlier how there have definitely been weeks where this was not easy to do, and I definitely wasn't always looking forward to it, but I definitely over time I've come to enjoy this a lot more than I did. It's the idea of the show has always been fun, and like I like all my co-hosts, but it's a lot of work putting this in every single week. So like you mentioned, like the these like the crazy moments in comics and like just like stupid stuff like that has been a lot of fun for me to help relax, because it's a lot of work. And this, you know, I mean, like Emma gets it. I mean, everyone has stuff going on. Like Charles and Corey get it. Like life is very stressful. Like my life right now is incredibly stressful and incredibly, like my time is just a nightmare. Like, so being able to unwind on Wednesday evenings it's been nice. Definitely. You know, am I going to be up after this writing a paper? Yes. But I mean, I don't regret my time here. I'm happy to be able to talk about this, because it's something I get to do. That is, I mean, so many of the people around me are absolutely just completely consumed by school. And it's nice to have something that's not that. So, it's been a great outlet for me. I really appreciate being able to talk with everyone here, of course, Tyler, Emma, Caleb, and all the people in the chat. And, you know, it's been fun. And I'm, you know, I'll be out. I'm not leaving next week. Can't unfortunately get rid of me quite this quickly. But yeah, you know, even though I'll be out for a little while, you know, it's been a great experience, and I'm excited to come back and see what's going on. See what we can talk about with I mean, there's gonna be so much crazy comic stuff when I'm gone. Like, what the heck? Like, I don't get to talk about the Obi-Wan comic. Like, that's garbage. Like, I'm sorry.
We'll just have to, you know, send in a little video or something. Like, maybe we'll have to like make you read the weekly pull list from your phone and then say, "Oh, by the way, this comic issue was nuts, you guys."
Yeah. So, I mean, luckily I'll be back by the time the roundtable happens. But like, I mean, there's that. Like, so yeah. Look, if the High Republic was happening this summer, I would have lost my mind. So, but yeah.
I bet. Yeah, we'll miss you for sure, but we'll be getting you involved, definitely.
Yeah. I can't. Absolutely. I literally cannot get farther away if I tried, and I will still somehow be involved in Utini.
You're like Palpatine. You don't go away.
Somehow Jacob is returned. Damn, I ruined the. I'm playing that clip in August. Book it.
Do it.
All right. Well, that's gonna be a wrap on 1 year of hold on. Oh, we're not done. Not quite done yet. Of the Cosmic Force. And next week starts a second year. So Emma, let's go. What do we have going on next week for us? And then Legends Look Back later this week, and Living Force next week.
Yeah, for sure. So next week, we've got a really exciting idea. We've had this one on our brainstorm list for quite some time. The best battles in comics. I'm really excited to see what everybody comes up with there. I've got to start doing some thinking myself. So really excited for that. And then tomorrow on Legends Look Back is the Legends Race to the Finish with Tyler. Tyler, do you want to say a quick couple words about that? I'm very interested to hear what you have to say without spoiling anything.
So as I kind of teased it a couple weeks ago, where I kind of went on a little bit of a buying spree and bought a handful of Legends books that I do not have not read. As you can see behind me, behind the actually you can't see it because my Funkos are blocking, but these are all my Legends books. We'll talk about a little more tomorrow. But yeah, it's going to be a little friendly competition between myself and the Legends Look Back host. But you'll have to tune in tomorrow night at 9:30 to get the full story.
Oh man. Okay. I'm so excited for that. I don't usually stay up for Legends Look Back. I mean, usually I'm up, but I'm doing like homework and stuff, but I'm going to make sure I'm all done with that stuff before then. I need to see what happens live so that I don't get, it's like a show. I don't want to get spoiled. So yeah, that's tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern, Legends Look Back. And then on Monday on the Living Force, they are talking about revisiting the Foundational 5. This is actually something we've been talking about on the Utini team. It's been a while since we made the Foundational 5. I mean, we made it like before High Republic stuff. So they're going to kind of get the discussion going on the Living Force, see what the audience has to say. So definitely start thinking about, what you guys think are some of the most important Star Wars books to read first. Can be Legends and Canon. We have Legends and Canon on the current list. And so definitely make sure to include those. So yeah, that's what's going on next week at Utini.
All right. And that will officially do it for this week's episode of The Cosmic Force. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show right here on YouTube, where you can hear us live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We also encourage you to subscribe to our audio versions on whatever podcast platform you listen to. You can also follow us on Twitter and tweet at the show at Cosmic Force Show to stay informed about Star Wars comics happenings, or follow the hosts individually. I'm at Ty Rags, Emma is at Irma Jedi 26, Caleb is at Caleb Lamanek, and Jacob is at Jacob Bosch. For reviews, articles, and news for the rest of the expanded universe, be sure to visit utini.com. We also encourage you to join our Utini Discord community by going to utini.com/discord. And you can also help support the show by heading to patreon.com/utini and start receiving exclusive perks starting at just $5 a month. A special thank you to OK Endar, Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sanders on our Jedi High Council, as well as Matt Bellington, Elizabeth Cloutier, Freddie C, and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command for their continued amazing support. As always, thank you to my co-hosts Emma, Jacob, and Caleb for hosting with me tonight and for this entire last year. A special thank you to our listeners who have joined us live, whether it's tonight or any other night that we have been here, as well as our listeners on our audio versions, wherever and whenever you are listening to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We truly appreciate you. We hope to see everybody next week, but until then, may the Force be with you.